All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get airborne with our primary live trade brief. Obviously, a lot going on. We just need to stay focused on our mission. I mean, it's devastating. It's heartbreaking. So much bad in the world, and I'm actually glad this isn't a shameless plug. Well, it is a shameless plug. Doing the My Crew Doses regime. Susie and I have been doing. I feel fantastic, but I can tell if I didn't feel fantastic, it would be bad. So, good stuff. So obviously we don't do anything. Just like Nicole just got back from, or not just got back from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. She went out to the Do Good Ranch in Colorado, and she was in it. And she's like, this is one of the most magnificent places on the planet. And this is a lady that's been to Gabon, to Costa Rica. She's seen all the sites. So obviously we don't do anything unless we're in it. But check this out, man. I just got this from Mental Joe. If you guys know Mental Joe and his Chad and his wife Carrie, check out the mock-up for the T-shirts for Maverick Mind. Look at the back, man. We got our nice little Pentagon, the Hornet busting out of the Pentagon, and then we have hoodies. So that's what the hoodie's going to look like. And we got fights on the sleeve there. This is going to rock. I am so excited for this joint venture and launching this healing line of supplements. It's just going to be incredible. I say it often, and it bears repeating. This is awful. This is the world. This is the United States, like going straight down, dude. And here's the rise of people, healers, trying to intercept this thing before it's too late. And it's just it's sad. So yeah. So we're doing our best on our end to try and help as many people as we can, turn some warriors into peacemakers, but I don't know if it's going to be too late, to be honest with you. So, but anyway, good stuff happened on this. We have a big call tomorrow about the launch, and we're planning on launching on Veterans Day. And I'm just really excited. Dr. Jeremy is working on the formulas and everything like that. So we're going to have, it's called Maverick Mind, right? We're going to have an AM set of pills, and it's going to be packaged great, man. You wake up, you take your AM. There's a cat shot midday if you want it, and then your PM, your bring down. I have not slept this good probably since the month or so after I do medicine work. I feel fantastic, man. But again, sitting here watching everything going on, talking to people, I'm like, oh my God, I just can't even. That's a benefit and a curse of doing medicine work. Is it you're more open, right? And you can take things on board more easily in a. I'm not going to say a sad way. The negative energy can be a strain. But check this out, man. This just keeps getting better. Now, if you're not in Solo Amazon, choke yourself. But yesterday in Solo Amazon's brief, I covered a $9,000 mistake that I made, a $9,000 profit on Amazon yesterday. So you ready for this? Are you ready for this? A guy I talked to at the SIBO, a buddy of mine, a big instructor, 500-pound head, he's like, dude, you can't get assigned if you have an order in on a trade. That trade's walled off. I'm like, that's not what I was told by Morgan Stanley E-Trade. He's like, I need to do some digging. Whatever. I'm not going to take 20 minutes like I did yesterday to debrief this, but woke up yesterday morning short essentially 5,000 shares of Amazon. 5,000. 5, 3 zeros. 4,970. Because I was long 30 shares of Amazon, and they swept those out. God takes care of fools, drunks, and sailors. I woke up yesterday looking at short 4,970 shares of Amazon as Amazon went down yesterday morning, and closed it and made $9,000. So I'm doing some digging. So recently, E-Trade has been absolutely a horror. I'm still fighting an $8,000 loss by clicking close, mid-market, fire, and it doubled up my positions. I'm like, what the fuck was that? That's your fault. No, it isn't. If you click close, mid-market, fire, and you guys didn't switch the legs around, you're responsible. So I'm fighting that with FINRA. But this yesterday, man, was just crazy. But anyway, tomorrow, folks, at 1 p.m., if you're not in Lifetime, man, what are you doing? If you logged in early, so month to date, what is this, 10 days? It's 10 days in the month. We're up 19 grand. I paid for a Lifetime. How many trading days is that? And the market was closed yesterday. Five trading days, we're up 19 grand. I made 50% so far in a Northrop Grumman bear call spread. It's up 2 grand, folks, in a day. So tomorrow at 1 p.m., we're going to open up the Lifetime group. To Mike's point, we have a retreat coming up at the end of the month in Colorado at the Do Good Ranch, like I talked about. And we need a little bit more shekels to make this happen. Healing should be free for everybody, but it should definitely be free for the first responders and the veterans on our waiting list. We have it's heartbreaking, man. Wake up, read the Instagram messages. I wake up, I read my emails because I get anytime somebody applies for a healing grant, I get an email. I haven't read one of these healing grants where I wasn't in tears or was just like, oh my God, help this person right now. It's a lot of energy, man. There's a lot of people that are hurting. So let's move on. I'm going to give you a good deal tomorrow if you want to join Lifetime. Yesterday, it's almost like I do this for a living. The market pinned at 43.35.66. So I got out of a sniper. Look at that. Got out of a sniper for a nice, what was that, $1,300 yesterday afternoon. Did the Northrop Grumman bear call spread. Did another bear call spread on VXX. VXX imploded and is looking great. So, folks, again, men lie, trades don't. And there's my personal brokerage account, 8465 right there. 8465, 85% year to date. And I can't stress this enough. When did it explode? In the past 2 months as the market imploded. So we can make money as people panic. Before I get into everything horrible going on, I have told you this for years, guys. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. What if UFOs have been a cover for high-tech human defense research programs? Duh. I love this article. It says everything I've been saying. And now I'm going to say a little bit more because it's public, or it's whoever posted this it's now public, so I'm not giving anything away. If you think there's little green men from another universe flying around our military bases and aircraft carriers and stuff like that, and we're not freaking the fuck out about it, you don't get it. Look up Moscovium. Folks, these things like, oh, they defy aerodynamics. They go into water and they move at 90 Gs per second. If you surround something in energy, I can be sitting right here in my chair. If I'm surrounded by something, I can do 90 Gs and do all sorts of crazy shit because it ain't me. It's the energy around it. I'm just inside of that energy. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but use your brain. I love how this article's like, remember in the 70s in Southern California, people were like, oh my God, there's these black triangles, there's UFOs. And the government's like, oh, wow, let's have Project Blue Book, like some Air Force dudes in uniforms come and interview people and go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Then folks, it's look at the Aurora thing. It was in Maverick. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason, like Barack Hussein Obama's like, oh yeah, there's some weird shit. Folks, they're prepping the battlefield where a couple years from now, we find out we had this stuff. It's government. Look at this. It's official disinformation, folks. I'm not going to dig too deep into stuff, but I will tell you that there are programs that you are ordered to lie. You can commit perjury because of some programs. How about that? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a UFO believer, good on. Technically, you can call it a UFO, right? Because it is unidentified. I don't know what it is, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad this article was there yesterday. I sat, yesterday afternoon reading this. I'm like, oh, who knew? Yeah. Now it's in print. But I mean, seriously, think about it. If there were actual UFOs with alien technology, that means something came from fucking galaxies away and has the technology to do that. And we're not like, holy shit, Annie, grab your gun. We're like, oh yeah, it's fine. If some civilization can get here and do what they can vaporize us, right? But everything's fine. Yeah, I'll give you this. So read this, folks. I'm not breaking anything. I mean, obviously, I've been out for so long, but let's just say I talked to people that recently got out that know better than me, off the record, obviously. But they're like, come on, dude. We have shit that will make your eyes water. How many times have I told you? If you can dream it, if you can sit here over a cup of coffee and go, wow, it'd be really cool if fill in the blank. There is a windowless room, overly air conditioner, with a booger eater in there, with some Mountain Dew and pizza boxes in the corner, trying to do it, or they've already done it. So, why do you think Donald Trump, when I get in office, I'm going to talk about aliens, I'm going to tell you everything about aliens, I promise. Didn't. Because he got in, and they're like, Mr. President, that's all our shit, or the Chinese. It's kind of really top secret. Don't go to your golf club and start spouting off to people who aren't qualified. So, there you go, Chris. Exactly. So, anyway, I just thought this was interesting as the world's going to shit. Now they're starting to float stuff like, yeah. Don't freak out about aliens because there ain't aliens. It's us. It's so funny because people are like, my God, they got to be UFOs. I'm like, so it's from another galaxy, this UFO you speak of, and it's only flying around our military shit mainly, not like in Boca Raton or the White House or like Aspen. It's wouldn't that freak you out even more that it's a UFO from another galaxy that's around our military shit? People just these are the 30%, 40% of people that support Joe Biden. And you all know my medicine debrief. When before the medicine, I'm like looking at the night sky. I'm like, oh my God, what a crowded universe. After looking at it, we're alone, period, which is pretty special. And people are like, just based on the distance, Wiz, it's physically impossible. Do you know the distance, like the size of our universe could be a grain of sand on God's beach? People don't understand space-time, and they're not separate. There's a thing called space-time. I'm not going to get into that, but you guys know what I mean. There's multiverses, folks. We could be the only thing in the entire universe, and there's quadrillions, infinite universes. Anyway, sorry. Now let's get bad. I'm not even going to look at this stuff. I have looked at this stuff. You don't have to. This music festival, it's the Holocaust, folks. It's Auschwitz on a smaller scale. The slaughter of these people at a music festival. Look at it. There's a baby in a car. I can't. And we have assholes in this country. Harvard, 31 student things at Harvard. We deplore Israel and we love Palestine. I can't with these people. Folks, you can abhor Hamas and what they're doing and still support Palestinian people and statehood and all that bullshit, but you gotta condemn this. They're doing well. If you lived in an open air prison for forever, you'd be killing people. Oh my God. Over 1,000 Israelis dead based on population versus the United States is 40,000 Americans. How would you be feeling today if 40,000 Americans were killed in a terrorist attack? This makes me physically ill. 8 million people, 8 million foreigners, fighting age males, invaded this country under Joe Biden in the past 3 years. If you don't think there's sleeper cells, terrorists in this country, you're a fucking idiot. How many times have I told you If you're Hezbollah, if you're any terrorist, you're like, look at the southern. You don't need to. The TSA border, dude. Don't make a fake passport and try and fly first class into America. I'll fly first class into Mexico and walk across. Oh, okay, Habib, Allah Akbar. Joe Biden, Kamala, the Democrats are the enemy of the people. Watching these guys walk around Israel, shooting civilians, shooting dogs. You see that dog like run up to one of the guys he killed, took 3 shots to kill a fucking dog. If you're an anti-gun nut and you hate the Second Amendment, you're going to be a bullet sponge. When, not if, this happens. It's going to happen in the United States, I guarantee you. Exactly, kid. Did you all see that video 3 weeks ago? Colombians, males made it. They went Iwo Jima, folks. They raised the Colombian flag in Texas. Then, the next day video on Fox News, they removed the razor wire. U.S. Border Patrol agents, Texas National Guard and troopers put up the razor wire, but the feds came in and moved the razor wire, and they were fist-bumping, fighting-age males coming into this country. You get anally cavity searched through the TSA flying in this country. Foreigners invade this country. These are not serious people running this country. So what's this have to do with trading? Ladies and gentlemen, folks, if this thing, I've heard this quote for the past couple of days, and I'm furious I didn't know it before. Iranians will fight to the last Palestinian and the last Lebanese. I'm like, oh my God, that's so right. Iran, you ready for this, folks? Is us. And NATO. Oh, we'll fight to the last Ukrainian young male. Yeah, go get them. This is Iran. Iran's fighting a proxy war. The United States is fighting a proxy war. Iran are cowards. We are cowards. You want to fight a war, Joe Biden, in Ukraine? Fucking man up and do it. Oh, no, we can't. Oh, because Ukrainian kids are not equivalent to American kids. I thought you were the party of we're not exceptional. Barack and his husband, American exceptionalism, that's bullshit. Oh, but now we're exceptional. Our children are worth more than Ukrainian kids. But ladies and gentlemen, Iran, I love that comment. Iran will fight to the last Palestinian and Lebanese. Exactly. So if Israel says, you know what, man? This was Iran. It is Iran. Even Admiral Kirby, that piece of shit, can't do enough bending into a pretzel to not say that Iran obviously has some hand in this. But they are straining. Joe Biden, the war starts. Americans are killed and taken hostage. He has a barbecue Sunday. Monday, they call a lid on everything at the White House at around 11. Well, it was an Indigenous Peoples Day. Wiz, the government doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. So 1 o'clock today, Joe Biden is finally talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, the threat to the market is a wider conflagration. The Gerald Ford Battle Group is heading to the area. The Air Force is sending a bunch of shit to the region. Ladies and gentlemen, with U.S. hostages currently, we are in a lot of shit. Lebanon, with Hezbollah up to the north, they make Hamas look pleasant, like the Girl Scouts. And Hamas doesn't even have close to what Hezbollah has. If you don't know the history of this region, and then obviously Syria is like over to the right going, okay, let's get going here. It's about time. So ladies and gentlemen, this is, you ready for this? Just like every day with Ukraine, I'm getting right. It's going to get worse before it gets worse. And General Jack Keane last night, I'm watching him, I'm reading all my shit, and people are like, if Hezbollah opens up from the north and they're fighting a two-front war and Syria decides over on the right-hand side to go, you know what? What is the United States response going to be if, I'm not going to say when, if Israel is on their ass and Netanyahu picks up the phone and says, we need United States help. We need U.S. boots on the ground. So, ladies and gentlemen, What's this got to do with trading? As I watch the S&P 500 just keep going straight up, everything. Zelensky's over in the corner going, hey, what about us? Talking to somebody who I told you the other day. He's like, dude, it wasn't an intelligence failure of the United States. We didn't tell the Israelis. Last week when Joe Biden out of the blue goes, oh, we need a border wall, it's because 8 million people just invaded this country, and the invasion of Israel by Hamas is not going to be good optics. That's why they sealed the wall. We knew. And this dude would know. That's not even being talked about. Maybe you'll hear that. So, again, Kirby, the White House, everybody bending over backwards. And the reason they called a lid on everything yesterday, folks, is because we're fucked. We are absolutely over a barrel right now. Of course, Iran was involved. The Wall Street Journal is detailing like, oh, yeah, there was Iranian officials in Lebanon, and this was over the past couple weeks. They helped them with everything. Oh, well, we don't know that. They're saying they did. Oh, well, we don't know that. When people say shit like this, why don't we believe them? Whew. I want to bring this up, folks, because we're screwed. Israel was prepared for a different war. The Israeli military's focus on intel, air power, and tech left them vulnerable to a ground assault. If you've read my book, and if you haven't, choke yourself, From Sea Level to Sea Level, I talk about Lieutenant General Jack Ripper, he was a retired 3-star Marine general who was brought in to be the Red Team in 2004 or something. There was like a big, I forget the name of the exercise, like a big exercise. He was going to be the Red Team. I think he was playing Iran. Like within minutes of the exercise starting, he sank an aircraft carrier and like an amphib ship and killed 5,000 Marines and sailors. Why? He used motorcycle people and the call to prayer to send messages. So they couldn't jam. The good guys, the blue team, couldn't listen. He had boats. He had thousands of boats in the Persian Gulf with explosives. And they were just hanging out, driving around. And when they said go, he said execute. And all the boats drove right up to carriers and U.S. naval ships and blew them up, and they sank. What happened? Donald Rumsfeld said, knock it off. He stopped the war game exercise, refloated the carriers, and tied that guy's hands. Why do I bring this up? Because we're fucked. We got fat trannies sitting in trailers who can't even make physical fitness tests. We are prepared for the wrong war. 8 million potential soldiers are in this country. Our technology, our UFOs that are defying gravity will save us. We got an F-35 struck by lightning in the clouds a couple weeks ago, and the dude had to eject because everything was dark in the cockpit. Oh, that's great. Ladies and gentlemen, we are prepared for the wrong war. I have told you, and people always fight the last war. For the price of an F-35, you could have a couple Hornets, man. We are preparing for the wrong war. If I did a shot every time I've said this, I'd be dead. Quantity has a quality of its own. The quantity of enemy people, when you fight the North Koreans, you fight the Chinese, you fight the Viet Cong, they don't care about human life. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, they throw wave after wave of bodies. Their strategy, we'll run you out of ammo with bodies. It's working. This was a great article about how the Israeli, this lady, I saw this former Israeli border guard lady. She's like, I'm stunned. Our technology, our fences, like if a fly landed on it, we got a signal. She's like, I don't know how this happened, folks. So guess what? Guys with John Deere or Caterpillar shit going through walls, we are fighting we are getting ready for the wrong war, folks, and they are here. Hamas sleeper cells, ISIS are in the United States. Some of them might be in Congress. In other good news, Biden is, you know what? I'm just going to ask for $100 billion, a one and done, to get us through the election. Can you fucking believe this. The big package idea is firmly supported by many throughout the administration. I thought we've already given $100 billion. So we have. This is another $100 billion. Sitting in a live trade brief, 10/10/23, man, at 10:25 in the morning, the world is at war. In the height of hypocrisy yesterday, China's like, we support a two-state solution. Ha! As you want to invade another, so one China, but two-state, Israel and Palestine. I have always, not always, I'm like, you know what? We give them a state, man. Maybe this will end. That's over with. There will never be a state of Palestine in my life, and I won't support it. Israel can live with two states. They've said that. For two states living peacefully, we can do that. One state, the other side, their charter for Hamas and Hezbollah, bullet point number 1, destroy Israel. It doesn't exist. Somebody tell me how you have a two-state solution. It's over with. So, and I listen to Netanyahu. He's like, and this time, I guarantee you, they're already doing it. I mean, day one, the Democrats were like, oh, stop. Do not. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken had to delete a tweet. Why? Well, me and the Turkish foreign minister spoke, and we think a ceasefire. Could you imagine on September 12th, Democrats telling George Bush, oh, we need a ceasefire. What the fuck are you talking about, ceasefire? We just got attacked. We're going to go attack. No. Throttle back. So over the weeks, you will see the Democrats come out. You will see horrific images. I get it, coming from Gaza, starving people and water turned off. Hey, man, your political leadership, Hamas, you voted for him. So how surging yields brought the stock rally to a halt in 8 charts. The bond sell-off is likely to have lasting effects on stocks. Ladies and gentlemen, I am stunned sitting here. What's the 10-year at today? 4.8 for the first time since I was in the Board of Trade. I am stunned. If you don't get it, look at this chart. Here's the yield on the 10-year. Here's the S&P. This is day 3 of a short squeeze, folks. I know nobody getting bullish down here. Anytime there's been a short squeeze, what have I told you? How long does it take for a short squeeze to end? Somebody tell me. 3 on the quick side, a week, 5 trading days on the outside. We are on day 3 of a massive short squeeze, folks. Down here, a buddy of mine's not doing too good. He's a pro. Dude, a 6 Sigma beat on the jobs number on Friday. Inflation's raging. His fund was stupid bearish. But it made sense, didn't it, folks? Didn't it? Raging job numbers, inflation is still elevated. Fed's not done, market's going to implode. You are staring at a massive short squeeze. Well, if you logged in, I don't know if I was on the air. No, I wasn't on the air because I was on the phone with the guy from E-Trade. I'm like, dude, get me out of this. Well, I'm like, I'll do it. Thank God I got out of that position when I did yesterday because Amazon rallied. Oh my God. But anyway, so folks, with a 10-year at 4.8, ladies and gentlemen, so again, I've said this a lot recently. We're going to do it. We're early on a lot of things. So when I talk like this, it's usually 1 potato, 2 potato. Okay, then it happens. Remember, we are an investment committee. You're going to learn tomorrow in Max Afterburner and the Hunters about our investment clubs. But folks, the investment committee of large funds, even Axe Capital, would talk to Wags or Dollar Bill or the other guy. But he was also a narcissist sociopath like Steve Cohen, so he just make decisions on his own. But most normal firms, folks, have to talk. We have 500,000 shares of Apple. Let's all meet at 2 p.m. We'll order lunch in this afternoon, and we'll meet in the boardroom. I've been there, folks. I did it for years. So watch. The 10 years insane. Thank God the 10 years doing this so I can get my mom into normal shit. But folks, this is obscene. Okay? So if you don't understand any of that, read this, because the Wall Street Journal does a good job putting it in whiz speak. So there's the link to that one. So let me just read this again. How surging bond yields brought the stock rally to a halt. The bond sell-off is going to have a lasting effect on stocks. What? So clearly, ladies and gentlemen, right? That isn't listening to everything. That's because it's a short squeeze, folks. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't go to yoga. I do my call because the 8:15 yoga is fit, and I don't want to jump around like Jamie Curtis and John Travolta. I like doing my flow. But anyway, on the call this morning, there was a couple folks who were like, I'm holding my short, so to speak, waiting for the turn. If there ain't no turn, every second that goes by that this thing ticks up, people are getting destroyed. So, folks, I'm telling you, rising deficits or rising interest rates, we can't even afford the interest on our debt. Higher rates, bank stocks, what's the KRE? It's probably having a rip your face off rally, right? Since it shouldn't be. I mean, regional banks, folks, and I have been having nothing but problems with E-Trade. The charting doesn't work. The positions don't work. So my model portfolio account works, but my real brokerage account is having problems right now. That's awesome, Morgan Stanley. You guys are fantastic. All right, well, this makes no sense to me. So the regional bank's breaking when bonds pop, but popping a little bit. It's ridiculous. Chrissy, I just answered that in the past 10 minutes. It is a short squeeze. We are on day 3 of a short squeeze, folks. What does that mean? So again, I know there's some new people here. Listen to me. Friday with the jobs report, that was a blowout number. That should be good for the market. You're not in a real market, folks. You're in bizarro market. A good jobs number tells the Fed what? Holy shit, man, this economy, air quotes, is strong and inflation is high. We need to keep raising rates. That should be bearish. So I know a lot of people who were bearish. And when that beat happened on Friday, what did the market do? It initially did this. Oh, yay, I'm right. And then what? And I would not be surprised when this recent short squeeze is over that I hear through my channel somebody screwed somebody. Meaning what? Axe Capital found out that what's the name? Sanford Ives or whatever on Billions. I haven't even watched the new one with Axe because I just hated the last season with Mike Prince and the wokeness. So I didn't even watch. I don't know if I'll do it. But anyway, somebody could have heard that what? I heard Wiz Capital is so bearish right now. They're short everything. Oh, really? I can't stand Wiz Capital. I'm going to buy everything that guy has. Holy shit, short squeeze. This happens, folks. So, Chrissy, that's what's going on. This is a short squeeze. Short squeezes end eventually, but they can be violent. There was a couple back here. I can't remember which exact ones, but yeah. So I think this was one when we failed at the 2 and people were like, oh yeah, look at this. You see this drill bit? I thought, remember, yeah, this was one of them right here. Because this was no man's land. The market doesn't like being in no man's land, right? Literally right in the middle of these averages. It said what? Boom. That was a 1, 2, 3, 4 day short squeeze. Oh, good. Well, if Prince is getting screwed, I'll watch that. Yeah, all right. So I kept this from yesterday to share with people who aren't in solo Amazon. Read this headline with me. Instant View at 8:58 on Friday. U.S. job growth smashes expectations, raising prospects for rate hikes. Job growth smashes expectations, raising prospects for rate hikes. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think this isn't a short squeeze, you are doing what? You are trading a year into the future where you think that Jerome is cutting rates. Who was it? Mike, one of my buddies in the last preseason hockey starts tonight. Last Panthers preseason game, Saturday night. He's like, dude, Fed's cutting rates. I think Cody said that too. I'm like, are you both high? They might have been. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Fed's going to be cutting interest rates. They ain't cutting interest rates. So, folks, there are market participants. Cody and I got into it. I'm like, dude, do you not understand higher for longer? He's like, they're lying. So there are, if you think this isn't a short squeeze, you could be one of those people saying what? Wiz, the Fed, even if it's got another, 25 bips in its toolkit, it's done. It's going to be cutting next year. And I'm sitting here in reality. A 6 sigma beat in that jobs number, folks. I was stunned. And as the day went on Friday, if some of you aren't in solo Amazon, what happened Friday? The market would not turn. I debriefed my Iron Condor. I debriefed what happened with Amazon. Holy shit. That you saw it live, folks. I wish I was back on the floor. It would have been like Duke and Duke. Like, holy shit. People could not get out on Friday. Look at the S&P 500. Look at what's the 100-day? 4397. This is insanity. Okay. Where do they intersect? 4415. So like 4410. I think right here, folks, is the next. The short squeeze ends right in the middle there. Wow. Unbelievable. Do not get in the way of this rally, man. I ain't sniping at all. We already talked about this. Soft landing ain't happening. Joe Biden's junior year is going to make his sophomore year look present. So, shit show, train wreck, bear market, recession. You can add world war to the junior year. So, I'm updating my junior year forecast. The world is at war. There ain't no, look at this. After all the talk of soft landings in our history, what's happened next? Recession. Not recession. That can happen. Don't trade off the left side of a chart. But folks, we are in a lot of trouble. Oh, am I wrong? Yeah, you're right, David. I'm sorry. The economic future is sad, simple, and already obvious. I gave this out yesterday. You have got to read this. It has everything we've been saying in one place. Not that I look for things to validate what I've been saying, but since I've been saying it a lot, and then you see somebody put it all in one place and with backing it up with a lot more data than I do, it's awesome. Please read this. Sit here with a cup of coffee. It's a 10-minute to 5-minute read, and it goes through everything from precious metals to equities to gold to treasuries and what's going to happen. We are $2 trillion a year added to our debt, and it's obscene. Okay, so let's start talking. Quick debrief. Last week, October 3rd, great news with the healing. It's called, oh shit, hang on a second. It's called Healing Realty Trust. Here it is. Oh, look, this just dropped. So you guys will get it before it formally drops when Brianna does all our social media today. There is the most recent podcast. You have got to listen to this. So Joe Calatabiano, say that 10 times fast. Daniel and Cody and I, we debrief everything. Major news with the REIT, the joint venture with No Fallen Heroes, Microdoses, everything. So listen to this. This is really, really good. So that was last week. The great news with the REIT last week was Piper Sandler put in $50 million. Didn't even break a sweat. They're saying another 50 on January 1st. And before this podcast, Joe, Cody, and Daniel were down in Fort Lauderdale with the Piper Sandler guys, and they already have another investor who sounds like a private investor, the way they worded it. I'm like, that's not an institution. They're like, I think it's a builder. There's a private investor in South Florida who got briefed on this, who wants to put in 30. So the next round of the REIT money raise is obscene. If you are interested in this round of the REIT, you have to be a qualified investor. Dude, don't even get me started. The government's $33 trillion in debt, and they're going to tell you how to manage your money. It ain't me, but what a qualified investor years ago, I don't know if they updated. Somebody Google it. It's $250 a year and $1 million in assets, excluding your primary residence. It's bullshit. It ain't me. But that's the, if you wanted to do the REIT today type of thing, let me know and I can hook you up with Cody. All right. So, but we also have been printing money. I hate when people use that term unless they actually mean it. We've been printing money with VXX, folks. I shot this one yesterday. There's a VXX bear call spread that's up 77% in a day, $1,200. VXX, folks. And look at it, as the market's rallying here, it's just imploding. This has been free money, folks. Look at this. In the past month, bull put spread, bear call spread, bull put spread, bear call spread. Now, look down here. With everything that's going on in the world, we might consider a bull put spread right now, but not with the short squeeze going on. I think we got a lot more to fall here in VXX. So if you're in this 77% in a day, take the money and run. Because between now and Friday, with my luck, Iran and Israel at war, and the VIX is at $1 trillion. This is why we close trades. We've been doing this a lot recently, folks. Look at this. Yesterday, 44. That's why we close trades. Do not turn a 70 with a credit spread, 70, 80, 90% profit into a 100% loser. All right, so that's a one-day trade, 75%, $1,200. Or you can get assigned, Andrew, and make $9,000. Dude, that was it's hysterical now. What did I also got an Amazon Iron Condor weekly work in here. Oh my God! So Andrew, look at this. Let's just debrief this real quick, man. I know I don't want to take too much more time on this, but this is 3-day. Where's yesterday? Here's yesterday, folks. Here's Wiz on the phone getting out. I actually executed the trade and got out of my short Amazon position. $675,000 worth of Amazon I owned yesterday. Or no, I was responsible for. And then as the day went on, if I had not closed that short yesterday, folks, I'm not even going to live in the past because it's going to make my hands shake. I mean, it went up to 128, which is where I got assigned, but still, I wouldn't have made the $9,000. If I got out at 128, I would have broken even. So, kid, it got me this far in life, didn't it, man? That's fucking. So, oh, good job, Arrow. You know what? Let's do that. Thank you for being a good wingman. Let's ungroup. If you're in solo Amazon, we put on a trade yesterday, a bull put spread, didn't we? 77%, $1,400. Arrow, good call. Close it, go on, take the money and run. JG, the SIBO trade is obscene, and I'm kicking myself. You all who got in the SIBO, you're welcome. This was what, 77%? $1,500, $1,400. Look at that, guys. That's $3,600. Or no, yeah, 14. Yeah, copy. 2,600. Here's your annual Full Throttle membership. This is a very tactical market, folks. This is a very, very tactical market. Trade the market you have, not the one you want. Oh, look at that. I'm loving this. I'm grabbing screenshots of that. Nice job. Woo. SIBO profits. Love it. File. Save as. Let's go look at the SIBO. And the market's finally turning. Be careful with the sniper here. Be careful on the turn. I'm not. Discretion is a better part of valor, man. This is a. Let me hang on one second. Case studies, SIBO. All right. SIBO. Let me go look at SIBO. How about this? This is right on the bubble here, folks. So this, I sold a bear call spread yesterday at Northrop Grumman. It popped 10% in the blink of an eye. I get it, and war is good for business, but you got to give a little bit of. I think that fills the gap here. So if you got this and you're in the hunters or the max afterburner group, I mean it's already fading pretty quick. So I'm going to hang on. If this hits 60%, as I'm saying, if it hits 60%, I'm going to close it. Maybe 70. Now the SPX rolling over. I'm going to hang in this one for a little bit more. SIBO. My God, that trade was end of August, beginning of August. Look at that shit. You people are insane. You know what? With the world ending, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I will get filled on this trade. That's obscene. You guys are killing me. I love it. I'm glad you did it. I got FOMO, but I don't have FOMO that I'm like, this is stupid. My commit criteria for the SIBO synthetic stock, the Wall Street Journal, options trading is insanity right now, and it's only getting, I was about to say worse, better. These gamblers with their 0 DT, 0 days to expiration, giddy up. Synthetic stock, 160, 160. If I'm going too quick, it's because you didn't watch your training. 16 and 16 is 32. What's that? 125. What's the disaster put on 160? Somebody do the math real quick. Buy 125. I'm using Kentucky windage math. 128. Boom. Look at the whiz fighter. I'll do 130. No, 125, because 130 is going to be a little bit more expensive. So I don't think I'm doing 10 contracts. Yeah. I will do 25, and I'm going to get filled. I'm going to do this in my personal account. Let me just walk this down a little bit. I mean, that's obscene. And then I'll do the short call. I'm trying to get filled on this so I can be in it and then do the short call. Okay, and SIBO keeps climbing. So it's what this is called the walk it on up, isn't it, folks? 1650. That thing just does not look like it's coming back, folks. Holy crap, SIBO. This is called walking it on up. Well, guess what? And I'm going to do this in my personal account. I'm going to get long SIBO, man. I miss this. And that is my fault. Now, this is a perfect example, folks. If you do synthetic stock and you're making money immediately on the trade, it's almost physically impossible. That means you got filled on your trade and it immediately popped. You will never get filled on a synthetic stock does that make, I hope that makes sense to everybody. You're trying to buy something. the dude or the lady selling this thing is sitting there with their arms crossed. So you ain't gonna. That's what's funny. People are like, oh, my synthetic stock's losing money. When'd you place it? Just now. Duh. Now. I don't even know if I'd sell a synthetic or a short call against this. When something's on a tear, either join it or get out of the way. What's Friday straddle? 162.5, 8. It's about a $2. You know what? I think the 165s are okay. If you're new to everything and I just blew your mind with synthetic stock, choke yourself for not watching the full throttle training on synthetic stock. Now I'm going to sell an upside call against my longs. You cannot let these things run away from you and go in the money. Treat this as a bear call spread. Wait, I didn't even send the SIBO synthetic stock. Damn it. Good. I love when people make money, man. I am kicking myself. All right, finally. SIBO. All right. Okay. Yeah, exactly. You see, that's why I didn't snipe. Look at the SPX, man. It's got a little head fake in here. I think we get a strong run. My real account is not E-Trade, man. Let me pull up my brokerage account again. Be very careful. I would not get in front of this right now with a bear snipe. SPX is what I would consider is since I still have a what do we have still left here? We still have an Amazon. Bear call spread. We could, this is dogfighting Amazon, right? We could put another bull put spread on and get back into an iron condor right now. Let's go look at Amazon. Because this is a rally, folks. This is trade the market you have, not the one you want, right? Something's on a tear, either join or get out of the way. I like this. So I'm going to leg into another iron condor on Amazon with a bull put spread. I'm going to sell 75 of Friday's 127 puts. As a hedge, I'm buying the 126. That's me saying Amazon's above 127 by Friday. 19 cents. We talk about the bad rate now. 38 cents. Double that credit you take in. That's when I would maybe eject out of this trade. And the market, SPX, is climbing again. So there's the bad. Risking 6 to make 14. No, I'm not. And before you ask, I'm going to say no. This is not a good standalone trade. The risk to reward is under 1 to 0.25. That's my rule of thumb. Anything under 1 to 0.25 is not a standalone trade. It is okay for an iron condor because I'm not risking $6,000. Getting into an iron condor with the bear call spread that I already have sitting in my account, knocks this risk down to maybe about $3,500 or something. So yeah, I don't mind risking $3,500 to potentially make probably 28 if we get filled on this iron condor. I am taking a screenshot of this stuff. Now it's at 20. Okay, it's jumping all over. It was just at 20, then 18, back to 20. Try for 20. Let me grab screenshots. Chrissy, well, we just closed or thinking about closing a bear call spread on Northrop Grumman. It already popped, right? So it's already out there that the defense stocks, that war is good for business. It is till a point, Chrissy. So I'm not right now getting long-term bullish on the defense stocks, especially after a 10% pop yesterday across the board in all of those names. They're usually old and stodgy, so a 10% pop is a massive pop in them. Now, it can keep going. Hey, Uncle Sam is just paying, and war is good for business. That's when I would reevaluate it. But right now, I think it already had its move. And if anything, I'm up 60% in a trade from yesterday. I sold into that pop. So, oh, for Christ's sake, man. I can't. Legging back into Amazon Weekly Iron Condor. Not a good standalone trade, folks. I would not do it. Because between now and Friday, excuse me, this short squeeze could end and we get Wrath of God wake back up in the market. I don't feel that. I think this is rally time up to the we're going to go kiss this, whatever they, not a Hindenburg cross, whatever they call this stuff when it crosses. So keep an eye, folks, on excuse me, if you're in the Amazon bear call spread, keep an eye on the bear call spread. Don't get blown out of this one, baby. We got the 130, 139. It's right up here. So if this does not start running out of a little bit of airspeed soon, I might have to punch out of that one. Let your winners run. I'll go down to 19. Let your winners. Whoa. Nope, I won't. Come on, 20. I'll stay at 20. I'll go as low as 19. Okay. Good stuff. I wanted to talk about 80,000 more things, but I have back-to-back calls, foundation, joint venture, and a bunch of shit that I literally have to jump for and prepare for. Yeah. Questions, concerns. By the ways, don't forget tomorrow, 1 p.m. If you're not in the hunters, or you're not in the, even if you're in the hunters, folks, it's time for you to fleet up to max afterburner, folks. First of all, it's you're in everything for the rest of your life. Not having to put up with bills or anything like that. And first of all, you get invited to all the cool shit, and and obviously you got the GroupMe app. I am keeping people in the loop at all hours with everything that I am learning, and it's going good, man. So let me look at my group real quick and see if I'm missing anything. If anything is short squeeze, man. Steve, that's a good question. So, and listen to this podcast, folks. If you're in the REIT, even if you're not in any of those things, you need to listen to the podcast. But so, Steve, I personally, the only time I look at an exit strategy for synthetic stock is if it's going against me. So this is, you know what, Steve? I'm really glad you brought this up, because in my 3 decades of doing this, every synthetic stock that I've done has been what? That. I mean, not a straight line, obviously, but it's been up and to the right. And usually what I do, Steve, is a wheel, right? In what are the SIBO options? How far out did they go? Jan of 25? Guess what I do, Steve? In Dece of 24, I'm probably looking at, I don't know, 75 to 100 grand in profit. in SIBO if it keeps going up and to the right. And you know what I do? I close those and I roll new ones. So there are names, folks, where I don't have profit targets on my synthetic stock because technically it's unlimited upside. The only exit time I'm looking at is like, holy shit, why are my disaster puts green? Why is SIBO imploding? So in the old days, Steve, Raytheon, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, CSX, Apple, when I traded Apple, Amazon, all of those names that I just mentioned moved up and to the right. So besides Amazon, and if you were in Solo Amazon yesterday, you heard me that my Amazon, if you didn't hear me, I'm telling you right now, my Amazon long-term bullish synthetic stock is on a watch list. My commit criteria have not changed to be in Amazon. My world criteria. The New York Fed, 1-year inflation expectations rise to the highest level since June. Raging inflation and a strong jobs market, folks. I'm telling you, the Fed might not raise next month in November. They're not done. And higher for longer will be lethal to the stock market. Back to Steve's point. Folks, I don't close synthetic stock unless I'm losing money. I let them ride and put on new ones. So talk to Karen, talk to some of the, I was going to say old, more senior TGO members, and they'll tell you, under Barack Hussein Obama type of shit, when the Fed was keeping the stock market, when Ben Bernanke was making Obama not fail, these names would just kind of do that. Yeah, I mean, we had some freakouts every once in a while. We lost our AAA credit rating. Yeah, no shit. So Steve, very good question. My answer personally is I don't touch them unless they're losing money. I let them go until like a month before expiration where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to close and reestablish a new beachhead, base position. So exactly. Lawrence is a senior member. Lawrence remembers this. We had several battle groups at sea that were printing money. Raytheon, Goldman Sachs, CSX was our transport. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. I mean, our synthetic stocks, folks. And this is some good training, ladies and gentlemen. You only do synthetic stocks on what? Solid names that are doing that or expect to do that. You ain't doing it on shit that ain't going to be around in a couple years. Okay. So good question, Steve. I've really never sat down to think about closing a synthetic stock because in my career, and again, I'm not even going to waste time going through all my old trade journals and shit. Maybe there was a synthetic stock that sucked. I can't remember it. The only synthetic stock that was in a little bit of, quote, danger at one point, you ready for this, was Apple. I was in Delray. I remember sitting back when I would go have a happy hour, looking at Apple, like my disaster puts are green. It was when Apple broke 100 back in the day. Remember, this was like, I don't even remember, 10 years, whenever this was. I had 90 disaster puts underneath Apple and they were green. And I'm like, holy shit. Apple broke 100. My disaster puts are green. You know what I did? I bought more. So the one time my synthetic stock I was scratching my chin, I actually added to the position. So very long answer to your short question, Steve, but I appreciate that. But if you're looking at SIBO right now, first of all, nobody's gone broke taking a profit. But folks, and I hate talking like this as Wiz, but as Gordon Gekko, I love it. With the world ending, which it will eventually, SIBO, I don't see how SIBO does not keep going up. Well, you ready? Peace in Ukraine, peace in the Middle East, and peace in Asia, and inflation. But even then, folks, if things get better in the world, which I hope and pray that they do, even if they get better in the world, what happens? People are still going to be trading. So I needed to. So my buddy, who I asked at the SIBO, I'm going to ask about the SIBO, but I called him about my open order getting a sign question. When I talk to him, I'm going to get he might be restricted though. I'm going to call some people in Chicago who aren't restricted, but folks, I need to know a red team about SIBO. If anything, I mean, Terry Duffy, who I interviewed on the Options Newsnet, the Options Cocktail. What a show. Only I could pull off a show like that. I'm going to do a show at a different trader bar every Friday after the market closes, get the traders drunk, get them on camera talking about what's actually going on in the market. Boom. Terry Duffy might even be moving the CME. I think the SIBO, they have both warned that idiot mayor and the governor. Pritzker's against it. He gets business, but the racist mayor of Chicago, we're going to institute a per contract fee. Terry Duffy's like, you know what? I love Chicago, but Miami, he's like, we're not staying. And he's got kids. He's got twin girls or something. He's got young kids, or they're probably in high school now, but he's like, I'll leave tomorrow. The SIBO will leave. The CME will leave Chicago. If the CME leaves Chicago, the SIBO will leave Chicago. I guarantee you. And I'll take them down here in South Florida and Miami. Ken Griffin's here. Goldman Sachs is essentially in Palm Beach. It's awesome. Kid, they were better results. Drunk investing. Yeah, exactly. Well, when these guys got liquored up, you actually heard what was going on in the market. And I got some great trade ideas about that. So, all right, guys, sorry I went long. Take a day, take a little time today, man, to get centered and children, dad on both sides. Trust me, I'm not. You guys know me. I ain't no warmonger, especially now, man. But any loss of life, whether it's Russian or Ukrainian, Palestinian, Israeli, it's a fucking life. It's a soul. God does not make imperfect things. This thing becomes imperfect. I pray for peace. I pray. But, this is the man who wanted to be left alone speech, right? I do not, whether it's kid or me or, any of these veterans, even after doing the medicine work, do not mistake our current demeanor for an inability to get extremely violent if we have to, if it's forced. And we will be furious that you brought us back to a place of that. And it will be a horror. So I am praying to God that the world finds some healing, but I ain't bullish on it, but I'm bullish on us. Okay. All right, guys. And I'm bullish on this. I feel great. The Maverick Mind stuff is going to be fantastic. You're going to buy some and order some. Exactly, Andrew. Yeah. And these cool hoodies are going to rock. I'm excited. All right, guys, I love you. Tomorrow, 1 p.m., Investment Club Brief. If you're already in it, you don't have to show up. But make sure you check out, if you're an investor in the REIT or My Crudose's joint venture, listen to this podcast because it's a big one. And there's a new investment opportunity in the great state of Oregon. Wait until you hear the math. I have no problems talking about making money when you're healing people. So let me get that out of the way. But Daniel, I think he's going to come on and do a little bit of a presentation. You ready for this? 7,000 Oregonians are on the waiting list for a psilocybin journey session at this center. It's not even open yet. Daniel's like, dude, we pay the entire facility's paid off in like a week based on the math. I'm like, oh my God. So if you missed out on the REIT, if you missed out on the My Crudose's No Fallen Heroes joint venture, Daniel's like, dude, we'll talk because I forget how much the facility is, like 1.5 million. He's like, look at the numbers. The real estate's paid off like that. I'm telling you, this is going to. I can be completely wrong. The dumbest idea ever in the history of dumb ideas, but I think we're going to be good. So, exactly, Mike. You bet, Eric. Yeah. If you're not a Second Amendment supporter, get on board. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged. Fights on. Excuse me. Namaste. Basi basi. I'll see you all tomorrow. God bless. Hey, tonight the YouTube video will drop. And it'll be funny because it's Cody, me, Joe in the studio. It gets a little out of control. So if you want to see the video, it's tonight on the No Fallen Heroes channel. Okay, see ya. Whiz out.